Hi everybody, my name is John. Welcome to Hascasts, introducing you to the world of home automation one simple step at a time. What I'm going to talk about today is a piece of software called NodeRED. NodeRED, R-E-D. And what it is, it's basically a graphical user interface that can be integrated with a Home Assistant. It allows for dragging and dropping. So if we have a look on the screen, you can see that here is one of the floors, as they're called. So this is a floor, this is a floor, this is a floor. Yeah, so if we have a look on this floor, we will see that we've got an input, and this one is basically saying call this floor every 15 minutes, and then it goes through to here. Now this node will call and get this URL, which is basically the channel homepage for Hascasts on YouTube. Over to the next one. So it takes in the message.payload, the payload property of the message object, which is standard. Each node, so each box here, receives a message payload, and in this case the payload is the HTML from that page. So it receives it, and we want to narrow it down to a span with a class of subscribed. Once we do that, we end up with a string, a character version, and that will tell us how many subscribers Hascasts has got. And what we do here, what I am doing here, is I'm just converting the string, the character version, into a number so that it's easier to work with. I'm then sending that over MQTT to my dashboard, and my dashboard here, as you can see, the sensor is saying 35 subscribers, which is what it was last night. So if you haven't subscribed, get to it, please. Okay, right, so back to NodeRED. Right, so where were we? We were on detect difference. Yep, so it sends it to that, but as well as doing that, it also passes it along to this. Now this will, if you're not into code, don't worry about it, but what it's basically doing is taking the subscriber number in the subscriber counting that we got in the previous steps, and it's comparing that to the previous subscriber count, and all it's doing is it's altering the message payload that it's sending on, saying, yeah, this is the amount of subscribers that you now have, and this is the change from last time. Now, one of the good things about NodeRED is it allows for variables, persistent or semi-persistent variables. So if there are 3 different contexts in NodeRED, there are node contexts, which is the context, if we take this sublost, it's the context of that node. So in fact, let's take this return the difference, which is what we're in at the minute. If we had a node.set, or I think it's context.set, then that would change only the subs property of this node, and this one will be different. The next one up is flow, which affects everything in this flow, and the final one is global, which affects all of the flows. So that's a little side note. It passes it on to this, which is another thing that is hard, if not difficult, stroke impossible to do in Home Assistant. Excuse me. and that is switches. So this switch here is saying, right, look at the change, and if it is less than 0, I want to give out an option for that. If it is 0, so if it's the same, I want to give out a different option, and if it's above 0, then I want to give out a different option. And then each of those gets its own pathway. So if it's lost subscribers, then it basically returns a payload with a message saying you have lost so many subscribers. If there is no change, then it will basically just return you still have X amount of subscribers, and if we've gained subscribers, that's the same for lost, obviously, with the string sufficiently altered. Right, for the lost and gained subscribers, that then passes it on. So it's just passing the message on to text to speech, and then that will inform us and say, the lady on the other end will say, obviously it's a computer, I know, will say you have lost X subscribers or you have gained X subscribers. As this fires every 15 minutes, if there's no change, I don't want to be informed. All it will do is it will just log it here and say you still have 35 subscribers as it is at the moment. So yeah, so it's drag and drop. Each node has just got its own responsibility, and then it just passes its payload on to the next node, then it forgets about it. So why should you use NodeRED? Well, it's free. That's always a bonus. It's quick. I, being a former web programmer or software engineer, I'm used to code. I get along with it quite well, and I'm comfortable with it. However, most people aren't happy dealing with code, especially YAML files with its little intricacies, i.e. white space. So I find that this simple drag and drop episode is the wrong word, but scenario is quicker. It's easier on the eye, it's more aesthetically pleasing. It's easy to back up for beginners. So for instance, if I wanted to share this node, this flow with somebody, you can just select the nodes that you want to export, and go in the menu, export, clipboard, and as you can see, this flow is it's basically just a JSON representation of all these. You can export it to clipboard, and then if somebody wants to share a flow with you or an entire workspace, then you can just go similarly to import from clipboard. You can paste it in, choose whether you want it in the current or in the new flow, and then that is it. Then you can just, it will come up with exactly the same thing. However, because it will come up with exactly the same thing in exactly the same place, all you'll see is this tab change appear. Next is it's easier to understand. You can look at this, and you know exactly what it does. Whereas when you're searching through YAML files, or even when you're looking at the automations and scripts GUI in Home Assistant, it still takes a bit of mental processing, takes a bit of mental usage, and it might not be much, but every second counts. Now, one good thing about this is you don't have to restart the server all the time, or even go into the configuration menu, check your configuration, which you should do before every save, and then restart the automations or the scripts. All you need to do is, if you change it, so if I did want to be informed every 15 minutes, even when it's the same node count, the same subscriber count, I can just link that across to there and click what most people count as save, so click deploy. That's it, the changes are applied instantly. So this is a bug that is known about, so there's no need to worry about that. It's easy to try. You can simply drag a few things up, make them work together, deploy it, and if it doesn't work out, then just scrap it. And because it's all done drag and drop, it's easy. It just seems easier. I'm not sure why. However, sometimes you will find that you're searching for something and it isn't there. Or, for instance, by default, let me get one of my automations up. Yeah, I'll stick with the gradual lights out. Right, so this is a gradual lights out script for my son's bedroom, and all these blue boxes here are Home Assistant integrations. So you can have it, Home Assistant, you can have it call services, get the status of things, but this is a separate script that you have to call in. But that is easy to do. All you have to do is come in the menu and go down to Manage Palette. Here you'll see the ones that are installed, but if you're looking for something and you haven't found it yet, then just do a search for it. Home Assistant. It's not showing it because it's already installed. Right, let me have a think. Let's just type in Google and see what we get. So there are okay, Microsoft. So if you wanted to work with databases or things like that, there is MS SQL. Pardon me. Obviously, some people will have their Home Assistant database not in a SQLite database, which is default, but they'll have it in MySQL in MariaDB or something like that. And so you'll be able to pull in an add-on for that, if you like. If you like to call them add-on. For myself, I have a Broadlink RM Pro, which can fire off infrared and RF signals to control various devices. And this will allow me to do that from here. One thing that a lot of people will like, warning, is this integration here. Now, I know there's been a lot of controversy in the Home Assistant community with people aware that the Alexa integration. I know that there are plans to start charging it, and in fact I believe it should have come out of beta or beta, however you pronounce it, on the 1st of March 2018, which is now passed 9 days ago, maybe, yes. And I believe the plan was to charge $5 per month. And a lot of people weren't happy about that at all, with it being open source software. Now myself, I don't mind paying $5 a month, even for not using the Alexa integration, and then that's basically because I value the software that much. I value I value the value that it brings to my life, the convenience that I derive from this software. However, like I said, I know there are a lot of people that aren't happy with that and don't agree with my stance on it. And for those people, you can, in fact, let's go to the bedtime automation. So here I just say, Alexa, turn bedtime on, and it will then run the script, run the automation, run the flow. It's that easy. Right, I was going to walk and talk you through a semi-quick flow, which basically was this one. However, this is the 4th time of me recording this episode, so I'm not going to bother. How's that? Right, so what would you use it for? That's the question that I want you to answer in the comments below. What would you use this for? Have you been waiting to try NodeRED? I know a lot of people have, but there hasn't been that much out there about it, especially with regards to the Home Assistant community. So here's a quick introduction. I am going to start a full series dedicated to Home Assistant and NodeRED. It will include installation on vanilla Home Assistant, that is not has.io, installation on has.io, and then how to set it up, how to get it in your sidebar, how to integrate your components, that sort of thing. So, excuse me. So the series is going to be, I anticipate 6 minimum episodes. Now, for the time being, those who are interested, the has.io series that I started, the 3rd episode of that was going to be Duck DNS and Let's Encrypt. However, when I looked a few days ago, about 4 days ago, before I started recording the first take of this episode, there is a problem with DNS issues and things like that. And considering I planned the has.io series as a series that was beginner friendly, I thought I'd leave it a couple of weeks until that managed to get sorted. If it doesn't, I'll find a way around it, and I will just create the episode anyway. It just won't be beginner friendly. Okay, so that's it for this episode. If you got value from it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to know when the next episodes are coming out, then hit that smash button. You'll find a circular Hascasts logo, maybe down there or there. Oh, I'm not sure where it will be yet, but I will. I think I'll make it so that my head sort of pushes up to one side, and the logo appears underneath it. Hover over it, there'll be a subscribe button comes out. Smash it as many times as you can, only once, but smash that subscribe button, and there will be a bell that pops up. Make sure that you click on that bell and select that you want to be notified when the next episode is, or next several episodes. And if you can think of anybody else who would get value from this series, don't forget to give them a shout. Tell them to get their... No, I won't do that joke. Tell them to do a search in YouTube for Hascasts, HASSCASTS, and subscribe also. Sharing is caring, and I'm sure you care. So I'm sure you'll share. Right, I'm off on one now, so I'm going. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks. Hopefully this will work out, because I am not doing a 5th take of this. So far, I've had the first recording went really well. I think it turned out to be about 45 minutes, which was a long video. And then I couldn't find it on the phone. So the screen grab was brilliant, but I'm recording this on mobile. I'm recording my face on a phone, and I couldn't find that footage. I couldn't figure out why. So I think 12 hours later I re-recorded it, take 2. After I recorded it, I found out why. It was a faulty SD card. So that was the second one, wiped. Last night I recorded it again. New SD card, check. I also, because I like to compartmentalize things, I record the audio in a dedicated app on my iPad mini. However, I've been recording it with default settings that I used to use for meetings, so I thought I'd crank up the bit rate and some other things to try and improve the sound quality. So I got to editing it all during the day today, and the audio keeps either skipping or losing parts. Oh, I got to the third cut of the audio and realigning it with the video, and I thought I'll give it a 4th try. So I'm here. Try number 4. How's it going? Let me know in the comments. If it isn't going well, it's tough. I'm not doing it again. Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.